Hello, today I'm going to be going over the weapons of Airframe Ultra, and a few key tips to help with learning to use them effectively. It is important to note that my experience is based on the closed beta version of the game, so aspects of the game such as weapon functionality may change drastically over time, but the fundamentals seem to be in place, so the basics I'll go over should retain most of their validity, at least hopefully. Due to expected changes, I usually won't go into detail with things like how much in-game currency is needed to use everything, or how much damage weapons do, because I expect stuff like this is almost certain to change to some degree. As a disclaimer, my biases and relatively limited experience with the game may lead me to describe weapons in ways that may miss some key features or uses. If you think I missed anything, or just want to share a neat trick, feel free to leave a comment. This video will be split into categories covering melee weapons, consumables, ranged weapons, which my friend Liam will cover, and finally, special items. The bat is the most budget-friendly option when it comes to the melee weapons, and for a few good reasons. It characteristically sports a fast, low-damaging swing with limited reach, making it difficult to use on an airframe. If no other option is available, or your budget is running thin, it beats having nothing. A notable feature of the bat is its special move, which allows you to pitch grenades to yourself to launch them a considerable distance. This ability allows you to turn any held grenade with a fuse, which includes the cherry bomb, EMP, flash, and frag grenades, into an impact grenade with a much higher velocity in the air. Keep in mind to avoid trying to use it with Molotovs. As a quick side note, special moves are activated by clicking the right mouse button or pushing in the right joystick on a controller. The crowbar is a fairly standard weapon as far as I'm aware. It does a little bit more damage per swing relative to the bat, and has a disarm function for its special move. If a player hits you with a weapon while you are holding the special button, their weapon will fly out of their hands, leaving them open to attacks. To me, the pipe was a somewhat unintuitive weapon the first few times I picked it up. It is immediately obvious that it has a brutally slow swing time, which feels terrible to make use of while on foot. However, this long swing allows you to stick it on the side of an airframe, which gives it the strong suit of being a clothesline. So long as your momentum is high enough, hitting someone with the pipe as it is sticking out can deal devastating damage. The long hitbox it has helps with this. However, this trait does not really help during a race when everyone is going in the same direction. The special function of the pipe allows you to place its end on the ground and drag it. This slows you down a bit and forces you to turn right if you do not fight it. If you lean into it, you can make abnormally sharp turns at high speeds, making the pipe a reasonable pick for its utility alone. The sledgehammer's primary attack requires you to charge up a swing that is capable of dealing devastating damage when you can land it. However, this is easier said than done. The charge requires an adequate amount of time to wind up, and a few things such as sprinting and dramatically shifting your momentum can interrupt the charge. A tip with this is that you can move with the charge animation while on an airframe to rapidly build the momentum needed to swing, and add extra momentum to your swing for more damage. Your special move with this weapon is a simple pommel strike to keep people who get too close too soon at bay. Another simple weapon, the machete, has similar stats to the bat with just more damage. While it lacks the grenade pitching ability of the bat, it is unique as a melee weapon with its ability to be thrown as a damaging projectile and later retrieved, making it a pretty good all-around option when a stronger pick isn't available. Another not-so-simple weapon, the chain, requires a charge up to use its standard whip attack, allowing it to be used as a ranged, but limited weapon. The charge up is not influenced by your momentum like the sledgehammers as far as I can tell. After making an attack, the chain must be coiled up, which takes some time and can leave you vulnerable. A unique functionality with its attack is that if you let go of the attack button and hold it again after hitting someone, you can grapple onto them with the chain, allowing you to drag them around. You can also slam them into things for damage if you are moving fast enough. The special with the chain allows you to toss the item out of your inventory to type a player and incapacitate them for a bit, making them an easy target. The traffic sign is all about momentum, and functions as a jousting option in the roster of weapons. It is only able to be picked up and used while on an airframe. Its attacks make you lunge forward with a significant amount of acceleration, allowing you to suddenly gain the momentum needed to deal damage. Any player hit with a spike will be skewered onto it for some time, but this does not inherently mean they got killed by the attack. The special move of the traffic sign makes you stick the sharp end of the sign into the ground to gain upwards momentum, allowing you to suddenly make a large jump on airframes that don't excel with jumping. The ride stick kind of relies on its special, which enables an electric charge to flow within it. Any landed attack while the charge is on will cause an arc of electricity to hit said area or opponent. You can hold down the attack button while the arc is up to extend its duration significantly, and you can move around while doing so. With these abilities, the riot stick excels at controlling one-on-one fights, especially on foot. It is also important to note that hitting airframes with the arc will prevent them from accelerating for a brief period of time. My personal favorite weapon, the beam cutter, at first glance seems like just another powerful weapon balanced out by a slow swing. This isn't to say that these traits of the cutter aren't true, but this weapon has a secret. If you hold down the special action button long enough, you will bend the cutter so its beam is no longer contained within itself, allowing you to use it as a fully fledged ranged weapon firing a continuous laser beam. The beam it fires is quite powerful, dealing significant damage rapidly, but be careful as the weapon will eventually overheat and explode in your hand. If you're healthy, this usually won't kill you outright, but you will be left weak and without a weapon to boot. The chainsaw is unique in the regard that it requires you to rev its engine multiple times to activate it, so picking it up won't allow you to defend yourself or attack others immediately. However, once it is active, it is very strong. Holding the attack button will allow you to hold the chainsaw out in front of you, and any hit opponents will get stuck to it for a bit as it shreds their health. The special action of the chainsaw allows you to rev it again while it is active to extend its running duration, before it deactivates and requires multiple revs again. The final melee weapon of the video is the katana. It is the most expensive melee weapon at the moment, and I believe for good reason. Any non-blocking opponents you get a clean swing on will be instantly killed. However, hitting hard objects such as airframes, walls, and weapons being used to block can cause the katana's blade to break, leaving it stunted and not nearly as effective in combat. Bricks are the cheapest pickup in the game currently. They can be thrown to deal small amounts of damage, making them something you wouldn't ever really want to rely on. They're alright for getting in one-on-one melee skirmishes so that you can throw out some poke damage, but pretty much anything else is a better pick when possible. Molotovs can be thrown to explode on impact and leave a lingering body of fire. Right now you can get 6, which is more than enough to cover a substantial amount of an arena in fire, or you can use them more strategically to cut off narrow paths. Fire does pretty crazy damage right now, so direct hits or even moderately damaged opponents driving through fire can rack up some points for you. Cherry bombs are an alright pickup on their own. You get 20, which makes up for their somewhat lackluster explosion radius and damage, and allows you to spam them for a bit. The easiest way to use them is to wait for some other players to swarm something, whether it be a fight or an item, so you have the best chance of landing hits. They are at their strongest when paired with the bat, as the need to account for a fuse timer is effectively eliminated, and many can reach a target quickly and accurately. Caltrops are a trap that comes in sets of 120, but you need to throw out a bunch at once so you end up scattering 120 across a few throws. They lay on the ground waiting for a player to fly over them, at which point they will stick to them in their airframe for a bit before detonating. At the moment, I think they are a bit unbalanced. They are very difficult to see during a race or even think about when you're moving so fast, and usually people will chuck all of theirs down in a choke point, so at least one person has to eat them and end up dying, resulting in pretty free kills. Shurikens are this game's sticky bomb. You get 35 shurikens in a set, which can be thrown rapidly to stick into their hit target before detonating. They don't seem to deal that much damage, so don't feel stingy with them, otherwise your target might get away in a smoke cloud made by the explosions. They seem to curve in the air if they travel far enough, making them difficult to use at extended ranges. EMPs are the grenade form of the riot stick shock effect. Once they detonate, they will continuously emit arcs of electricity that will damage and stun anyone who gets too close. This makes them perfect for area denial and can rack up kills by setting and forgetting them. You do only get 4 for a pretty high price, so they are best used wisely. Flashbangs function just as you would expect them to. If you look at the explosion, you get blinded. The blinding effect lasts an extremely long time if it is in full effect, so they are pretty good at messing up people during a race. Frag grenades function pretty much the same way as cherry bombs, just with a greatly exaggerated explosion, but a much smaller carry to count of only 6. This makes them very good at taking advantage of groupings, even if your throw is a little bit off. Again, the bat makes them better and easier to use. The jerrycan is an airframe exclusive pickup. If you get off your airframe, you will drop it. It allows you to leave a trail of fire behind you when you use the jerrycan. Its best use case is in narrow passages when you know opponents are following close behind you.
The blaster is a regular cheap pistol. It's not the best at anything, but it's got a good rate of fire and okay damage. However, it doesn't come with a lot of ammo, only 12 in the magazine, 36 in total, and the bullets aren't hit scan, meaning it has poor accuracy outside of close range. The SMG has a large magazine size of 100 with 300 rounds in total, very high rate of fire, very low accuracy and low damage, a spray and pray weapon if I've ever seen one. Obviously a poor choice beyond medium range, but its sustained fire can shred any target if they get too close. This high-powered pistol packs a punch. With 6 rounds in the cylinder, 24 in total, and a 1 round per second interruptible reload, this ensures you almost always have enough bullets to kill someone. Its poor accuracy can be easily negated by aiming and going slow. It can shoot incredibly quickly in a pinch, emptying the entire cylinder within 2 seconds. This sawed-off double-barrel shotgun has enough power to kill just about anything you're standing next to, and send you flying backwards at the same time. Its lengthy reload at about 4 seconds per shell, you may end up interrupting the reload at 1 shell pretty often. It also has a delayed trigger, meaning when you shoot, it'll go click and then boom! Expect the weapon to fire about a second after pulling the trigger. Even so, it's hard to beat this weapon up close even when you are expecting it. The rebar fastener is a gigantic, unwieldy construction tool that shoots massive rebar bars that come out spinning like frisbees. Due to the large size of this weapon, it has to be readied before fired. Its incredibly poor accuracy and range, coupled with its small rebar holder thing size at 4 bars in the thing and 28 in total, leave this weapon unreliable and crude. Like the revolver, the bars can be loaded individually at about 1 bar per second, and the reload can be interrupted. Additionally, the rebar can bounce off walls and floor to potentially skewer targets. The Kalashnikov has a high rate of fire, high damage, good magazine size at 36 rounds, with 180 in total. This rifle is a great all-arounder with great potential. Aiming will limit you to 3-round bursts, but that's probably for the best. It's a regular AK. You've probably seen this weapon around somewhere before. The plasma pistol is essentially a handheld projectile flamethrower, doing good damage on impact and great damage via lighting whatever you hit on fire. Its large fuel cell compartment can fire 100 projectiles without reloading. It comes with 200 in total, but the projectile themselves are slower moving and you may need to lead shots on moving targets. Overall very powerful, just make sure to not light yourself on fire. The minigun. It's got 240 bullets per belt, 720 bullets total, a very high rate of fire, and it's surprisingly very accurate. It needs to spin up a second, but it can kill anything you point it at, and it will push you backwards if you're not mounted. It has a pretty quick reload all things considered, but it can only be reloaded when empty. Make sure you have enough ammo before doing anything.
The Riot Shield and body armor exist in-game as defensive options. The shield is equipped in your offhand, and if no weapon is held, you can hold it up in front of you and choose the direction to block attacks from. If you are holding a weapon, you will simply hold it at your left side and aim with your weapon instead, but it will protect you pretty well nonetheless. The body armor is a bit more simple. You pick it up and you get pretty significant damage reduction so long as the armor isn't broken. Well, that wraps up what I've got for this video. I hope it helps when Airframe Ultra gets another public testing period or fully releases. A big thanks goes out to Liam and Marlon for them helping make this video. Go check out their channels through the links down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, you can expect more Airframe Ultra stuff in the future, likely in the form of edited clips when I get around to my Best of January and future compilations. And as always, thank you for watching.
I'm gonna try doing it to people. They're not gonna see you coming. Oh! I don't think you could parry the chainsaw. Put that in the video.